Welcome to this exciting and detailed video where we explore the top 4 most valuable Washington quarter-dollar coins, classic American quarters that have become highly prized by collectors. First introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington, this coin series has produced a few rare dates and fascinating varieties that are now worth a significant amount of money. If you have old quarters stored away in a collection or coin jar, you might want to take a closer look. Let's get started. First up, the Washington quarter dollar from 1984 with a P mint mark. At first glance, it might appear to be nothing more than an ordinary 25-cent coin that has spent years moving through circulation. Yet collectors know that even common coins can hold stories of history, craftsmanship, and sometimes surprising value. When the 1984 Washington quarter was first released, it entered a fast-moving economy where coins changed hands constantly. People used quarters for vending machines, bus fares, parking meters, laundromats, and countless everyday purchases. These coins traveled from pocket to pocket, passing through supermarkets, restaurants, and gas stations across the country. The design of the Washington quarter is one of the most iconic images in American coinage. On the front of the coin appears the portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States and a central figure in the founding of the nation. His profile faces left, capturing a sense of dignity and leadership that reflects the importance of his role in American history. The reverse side of the coin features a powerful symbol of the United States, the American eagle. With wings spread wide and arrows clutched in its talons, the eagle represents strength, independence, and national pride. The design has been admired by collectors for decades because of its bold appearance and historical meaning. The 1984 Washington quarter with the P mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The small letter P near the date serves as a mark of origin, showing where the coin was struck. Beginning in the late 20th century, the Philadelphia Mint began adding this mark to many of its coins, helping collectors identify their source. Millions of these quarters were minted and released into circulation during 1984. Because of this large production, the coins quickly became a common part of daily life. Most people never paid close attention to them, simply using them for transactions without a second thought. Over the years, the majority of these quarters developed signs of wear as they continued circulating. A coin described as circulated condition usually shows scratches, softened details, and a slightly dull surface. These marks are natural results of years of handling and movement through countless transactions. Despite the wear, circulated coins still hold a unique charm. Each mark on the surface tells a story of where the coin might have traveled. It may have been part of a busy city market one day and a quiet rural store the next. Collectors often appreciate circulated coins because they represent genuine pieces of everyday history. Instead of sitting untouched in a vault, these coins participated in the daily life of a nation. Their worn appearance becomes evidence of the journey they have taken. When examining a Washington quarter, collectors usually begin with a portrait of George Washington. Even on circulated coins, many of the design details remain visible. The outline of Washington's hair, the shape of his face, and the surrounding inscriptions all provide clues about the coin's condition. Turning the coin over reveals the striking image of the eagle. The feathers, wings, and arrows offer several areas where collectors can evaluate how much detail remains after years of use. A coin with clearer details often attracts more interest. The material used in the Washington quarter also contributes to its durability. By 1984, quarters were produced using a copper core covered with layers of nickel, creating a strong and long-lasting coin suitable for heavy circulation. This durable composition explains why so many quarters from the 1980s are still found today. Many remain hidden in jars of spare change, drawers, or forgotten collections waiting to be rediscovered. Coin collecting often begins with curiosity. Someone might notice an older coin among their change and wonder where it came from. That simple curiosity can lead to hours of exploration and learning. For many collectors, the excitement comes from the possibility of finding something unusual. A coin may look ordinary at first glance, but a closer inspection might reveal interesting details that make it stand out. Sometimes collectors discover coins with slightly different strikes or unusual surfaces created during the minting process. These small variations can make certain coins more desirable in the collector market. The Washington quarter series itself has a long and fascinating history. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the design became so popular that it continued far beyond its original purpose. By the time 1984 arrived, the Washington Quarter had already been in circulation for more than 50 years. Generations of Americans had grown familiar with its design, making it one of the most recognizable coins in the country. Coins from the 1980s also represent a unique era in modern American history. This was a time of technological change, economic shifts, and evolving culture. Every coin minted during that period quietly witnessed those moments. A single quarter from 1984 may have traveled through thousands of transactions. It might have paid for a newspaper, helped buy a cup of coffee, or been dropped into an arcade machine during the golden age of video games. Collectors often enjoy imagining these journeys. Although the coin itself remains silent, its worn surfaces hint at the countless places it might have been. Examining coins carefully often requires magnification and strong lighting. Under these conditions, even small details can become visible. Scratches, dye marks, and subtle textures sometimes reveal interesting clues about the coin's history. Many collectors build complete sets of Washington quarters by gathering coins from each year and mint mark. Completing such a set requires patience and dedication, as well as a keen eye for detail. The 1984 P Mint Mark quarter fits neatly into this larger collection. While millions were produced, each surviving coin still contributes to the story of American currency. Sometimes collectors are surprised when ordinary coins gain attention in the marketplace. A specific example may stand out due to unusual features, strong remaining detail, or collector demand. Stories of valuable coins discovered in everyday circulation continue to inspire collectors around the world. People begin to examine their spare change more carefully, wondering if a hidden treasure might be waiting. The idea that a simple coin could carry unexpected value adds excitement to the hobby. It reminds collectors that history can hide in the most ordinary objects. Even a worn quarter resting quietly in a coin jar might hold a fascinating story. Its journey through time connects the present with the past in a very tangible way. Because of this sense of discovery, next up, the Washington Quarter Dollar from 1995 with the P Mint mark. At first glance, it may look like a simple coin that has passed through many hands over the years, yet for collectors it represents a small but fascinating piece of American history. When the 1995 Washington Quarter first entered circulation, it became part of everyday life across the United States. People used quarters constantly for small transactions, whether it was buying snacks from vending machines, feeding parking meters, or paying for public transportation. These coins traveled quickly from one person to another, becoming a familiar part of daily routines. The design of the Washington Quarter has long been admired for its strong connection to American heritage. On the front of the coin is the distinguished portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States and one of the most respected figures in the nation's founding history. His calm and determined profile reflects leadership, courage, and the spirit that helped shape the country. On the reverse side of the coin appears the powerful image of the American eagle. The eagle stands with its wings spread wide, clutching arrows while surrounded by olive branches. This design symbolizes both strength and peace, representing the balance of power and diplomacy that defines the nation. The presence of the P Mint mark on the 1995 Washington Quarter tells collectors that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint has a long and important history in American coin production, and its small letter P beneath the date serves as a mark of origin for collectors studying the coin. During 1995, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of quarters to keep up with the demand for circulating currency. Because of this large production, these coins quickly spread throughout the country and became a regular part of everyday spending. Most of these quarters spent years moving through circulation. Over time, coins naturally develop signs of use as they pass through thousands of transactions. A coin described as very fine condition still retains most of its design details, although light wear may appear on the highest points of the design. For collectors, a very fine coin is particularly interesting because it still displays much of the original craftsmanship of the mint. Even after years of circulation, the design remains clear and recognizable, allowing collectors to appreciate the artistry involved in its creation. When examining the coin, collectors often begin with the portrait of George Washington. The strands of his hair, the shape of his face, and the lettering surrounding the portrait provide important clues about the coin's preservation. Even with moderate wear, a very fine Washington quarter usually retains a pleasing appearance. The portrait remains strong and identifiable, while the slight softness on certain areas simply reflects the coin's journey through everyday life. Turning the coin over reveals the detailed eagle design on the reverse side. Collectors carefully study the wings, feathers, and arrows held by the eagle to evaluate how much detail remains visible. On a very fine example, many of these features remain sharp enough to appreciate the original design. The wings of the eagle often still show their layered feather structure, while the surrounding lettering remains clear. The metal composition of the Washington quarter also plays an important role in its durability. By the 1990s, quarters were made using a copper core layered with nickel, creating a strong and long-lasting coin that could survive years of circulation. Because of this durable composition, many quarters from the 1990s remain in collectible condition today. Some are still hiding in jars of spare change or forgotten collections waiting to be discovered. The hobby of coin collecting thrives on curiosity and attention to detail. Many collectors spend hours examining coins under bright lights or magnifying lenses, searching for features that make a coin unique. Sometimes small differences created during the minting process can transform an ordinary coin into something special. Slight variations in strike strength, die wear, or surface texture can make certain coins stand out. The Washington Quarter series itself carries a long and fascinating history. It was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. What began as a commemorative design soon became a permanent part of American coinage. By 1995, the Washington Quarter had already been circulating for more than 6 decades. Generations of Americans had used the coin in daily life, making it one of the most recognizable pieces of currency in the country. Coins from the 1990s represent a period of rapid change and modernization. The world was entering the digital age, yet physical coins still played an essential role in everyday commerce. A single quarter from 1995 may have traveled through supermarkets, gas stations, movie theaters, and countless other places before eventually being noticed by a collector. Collectors often enjoy imagining the journey each coin has taken. Every scratch or worn surface may represent a small moment in the coin's long history of movement. Coin shows and online collector communities allow enthusiasts to share their discoveries and learn from one another. Through these interactions, collectors continue expanding their knowledge of coins and their varieties. Many collectors aim to build complete sets of Washington quarters by gathering coins from each year and mint mark. This process requires patience, attention to detail, and a passion for history. The 1995 P Mint Mark quarter plays its own role within this larger story. While millions were produced, each surviving coin contributes to the rich narrative of American coinage. Occasionally, collectors discover coins that stand out because of exceptional detail or unusual characteristics. These coins often attract attention in auctions and collector markets. Stories of valuable coins found in everyday circulation continue to inspire collectors. Someone might discover a remarkable coin while simply checking their spare change. Moments like these remind people that history can hide in the most ordinary places. A simple coin that once bought a cup of coffee might later become a fascinating collectible. Because of this possibility, many collectors examine their coins carefully before spending them. Every coin has the potential to reveal something interesting. The Washington Quarter from 1995, with the P Mint mark in very fine condition, represents a small yet meaningful piece of this collecting world. Its worn yet detailed appearance reflects decades of movement through everyday life, connecting the present to moments in the past. Collectors appreciate these coins not only for their possible value but also for the history they represent. Sometimes, certain examples of these quarters attract significant attention due to their remarkable characteristics or strong preservation. These rare situations demonstrate how value in the coin world can change dramatically when collectors recognize something special. Next up, the Washington Quarter Dollar from 1993 with the D Mint mark. At first glance, it may appear to be just another circulated quarter, yet hidden within its worn surface is a story that connects the past with the present. When the 1993 Washington Quarter was first minted, it entered circulation during a time when coins were used constantly in daily life. From grocery stores and gas stations to vending machines and parking meters, quarters were an essential part of everyday transactions. Millions of people handled these coins every day, rarely stopping to examine them closely. The design of the Washington Quarter has remained one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. On the front of the coin appears the dignified portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States and one of the most respected leaders in American history. His profile reflects determination and leadership, symbolizing the spirit of a nation built on courage and vision. Turning the coin over reveals the iconic image of the American eagle. With wings spread wide and arrows held firmly in its talons, the eagle stands as a symbol of strength and freedom. The design captures the bold identity of the United States and has been admired by collectors for generations. The presence of the D Mint mark on the 1993 quarter indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint. Located in Colorado, the Denver Mint has played a significant role in producing coins for circulation across the country. The small letter D placed near the date quietly identifies the origin of the coin. During 1993, the Denver Mint produced millions of Washington quarters to meet the needs of the growing economy. These coins were shipped to banks and businesses across the nation, quickly becoming part of everyday life. Because so many were produced, most of these quarters spent years in circulation. They moved from one transaction to another, traveling through restaurants, retail stores, buses, and countless pockets. Over time, the coins began to show the natural signs of wear that collectors describe as circulated condition. A circulated coin often displays softened details, light scratches, and a slightly dull surface. These marks are not considered flaws by many collectors. Instead, they represent the journey of the coin through decades of everyday use. Each mark on a circulated coin tells a silent story. The quarter might have been used to buy a newspaper one day and pay for a bus ride the next. It may have traveled across cities or even states before eventually being set aside in a collection. Collectors often begin examining a Washington quarter by studying the portrait of George Washington. Even on circulated coins, many of the original design features remain visible. The shape of his hair, the outline of his face, and the surrounding inscriptions provide clues about the coin's condition. Although circulated coins show wear, they still retain much of their original character. In many cases, the portrait remains clear enough to appreciate the artistry that went into its design. The reverse side of the coin offers another opportunity for collectors to observe important details. The eagle design includes feathers, wings, and arrows that can reveal how much of the original strike remains visible. On some circulated coins, the feathers of the eagle appear slightly worn yet still recognizable. The lettering around the design usually remains readable, providing important information about the coin's denomination and country of origin. The metal composition of the Washington quarter also contributes to its durability. By the 1990s, quarters were made with a copper core layered with nickel, creating a strong and resilient coin designed for heavy use. Because of this sturdy composition, many quarters from the early 1990s are still found today. Some remain hidden in jars of spare change or tucked away in forgotten collections waiting to be rediscovered. Coin collecting is a hobby built on patience and curiosity. Many collectors enjoy examining coins carefully under bright light or magnification, searching for small features that might make a coin stand out. Sometimes a coin that appears ordinary at first can reveal subtle details that make it interesting to collectors. Slight variations in strike quality or surface texture can transform a simple coin into something special. The Washington Quarter series itself has a rich history that dates back to 1932. It was originally introduced to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, yet the design proved so popular that it remained in circulation for decades. By the time 1993 arrived, the Washington Quarter had already been part of American currency for more than 60 years. Generations of people had used these coins without realizing they were handling a small piece of history. Coins from the 1990s represent a period when the world was rapidly changing. Technology was advancing, communication was expanding, and society was moving toward a new digital era. Yet coins like the Washington Quarter remained an essential part of everyday commerce. Every circulated quarter from 1993 carries a silent connection to that time. It may have been present during small everyday moments in the lives of countless people. Collectors often enjoy imagining the journey of a single coin. A quarter could have traveled from a grocery store in one city to a vending machine in another before finally finding its way into a collector's hands. These journeys add character to circulated coins. The marks and wear on the surface become reminders of the coin's long path through everyday life. Coin shows and online collector communities allow enthusiasts to share their discoveries and learn from one another. Through these networks, collectors continue uncovering fascinating details about coins from different years and mints. Many collectors build complete sets of Washington quarters, carefully gathering coins from each year and mint mark combination. This process requires dedication, knowledge, and a sharp eye for detail. The 1993 quarter with the D Mint mark plays its own role within this larger collection. Although millions were produced, each coin remains part of the historical record of American currency. From time to time, certain coins attract special attention because of unusual characteristics or exceptional preservation. These coins often become highlights in auctions and collector discussions. Stories of valuable coins discovered in everyday circulation continue to inspire collectors around the world. Someone might find an interesting coin while sorting through spare change or examining an old collection. Moments like these remind people that hidden treasures can still exist in the most ordinary places. A simple quarter could hold more significance than anyone expects. Because of this possibility, many collectors examine every coin they encounter. Even the most common-looking piece might carry an unexpected surprise. The Washington quarter from 1993 with a D Mint mark in circulated condition represents a small yet fascinating piece of American history. Its worn surface reflects years of movement through everyday life. Collectors appreciate such coins not only for their potential value but also for the stories they represent. Each coin connects the present with moments from the past. Occasionally, next up. The Washington quarter dollar from 1982 with the D Mint mark. At first glance, it may appear to be nothing more than a worn and darkened coin that has spent years passing from hand to hand. Its black, dirty appearance might cause many people to ignore it completely, yet collectors understand that even coins like this can carry hidden importance. When the 1982 Washington quarter was first minted, it entered circulation during a time when coins were essential for everyday transactions. People used quarters constantly for vending machines, parking meters, public telephones, and bus fares. These coins traveled quickly through countless transactions, becoming part of the daily rhythm of life across the country. The design of the Washington quarter is one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. On the front of the coin appears the portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States and a central figure in the nation's founding history. His strong profile represents leadership, determination, and the spirit of independence that shaped the country. Turning the coin over reveals the powerful image of the American eagle on the reverse side. The eagle spreads its wings with strength while holding arrows and olive branches. This design symbolizes both power and peace, reflecting the ideals of the nation. The presence of the D Mint mark on the 1982 quarter tells collectors that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Located in Colorado, the Denver Mint has produced billions of coins for circulation throughout the United States. The small letter D placed near the date quietly identifies the coin's place of origin. During 1982, the Denver Mint produced a large number of Washington quarters to meet the demand for circulating currency. These coins were distributed to banks and businesses across the nation, quickly becoming part of everyday spending. Most of these coins remained in circulation for many years. As they moved through countless pockets, purses, and cash registers, they naturally developed signs of wear. Over time, many coins also developed darker surfaces due to exposure to air, moisture, and handling. A coin described as having a black dirty condition often shows heavy toning or accumulated grime from decades of circulation. While this appearance might seem unattractive at first glance, collectors often view it differently. The dark surface can be evidence of the coin's long journey through time. Each scratch, mark, or darkened area tells a silent story about where the coin has been. It might have traveled through busy city markets, quiet neighborhood shops, or long-forgotten vending machines. Collectors frequently begin examining a Washington quarter by looking closely at the portrait of George Washington. Even on a heavily circulated coin, the outline of his face and the shape of his hair often remain visible. The lettering around the edge of the coin also provides important clues about its condition. Even when the surface appears dark or dirty, the inscriptions may still be clear enough to read. Turning the coin over allows collectors to examine the eagle design on the reverse. The wings, feathers, and arrows can reveal how much of the original detail remains despite years of wear. In some cases, the dark toning on a coin can actually highlight certain design elements. Light reflecting off the raised areas may reveal features that are otherwise difficult to see. The Washington Quarter series itself has a long and impressive history. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the coin quickly became a permanent part of American currency. By 1982, the Washington Quarter had already been circulating for half a century. Generations of Americans had used these coins without realizing they were holding a small piece of historical tradition. The composition of the quarter also changed over time. By the early 1980s, quarters were produced using a copper core coated with nickel, creating a durable coin designed to withstand heavy circulation. Because of this strong composition, many quarters from that era still exist today. Some remain hidden in jars of spare change or forgotten coin collections waiting to be rediscovered. Coin collecting is often driven by curiosity. Someone might notice an unusual coin in their pocket change and decide to take a closer look. That simple moment of curiosity can lead to a lifelong interest in numismatics. Collectors often use magnifying tools and bright lighting to study coins in greater detail. Under magnification, even a heavily circulated coin may reveal interesting features that are difficult to see with the naked eye. Sometimes small variations created during the minting process can make certain coins stand out. Differences in strike quality, die wear, or surface texture can attract the attention of experienced collectors. The Washington Quarter series is especially popular among collectors because of its long history and wide variety of dates and mint marks. Building a complete set of these coins can be both challenging and rewarding. The 1982 quarter with the D mint mark holds a unique place within this series. Although many were produced, each surviving coin carries its own story of movement through everyday life. Coins from the early 1980s also represent an interesting moment in American history. This was a time of economic changes, cultural shifts, and growing technological progress. A single quarter from 1982 may have traveled through thousands of transactions during that time. It could have been used to buy a newspaper, pay for a bus ride, or play an arcade game in the early days of video gaming. Collectors often enjoy imagining the journey of such coins. The worn surfaces and darkened color become evidence of the many places the coin might have been. Even a coin that appears dirty or worn can hold fascination for collectors who appreciate the history behind it. The marks left by time transform the coin into a small historical artifact. Coin shows, auctions, and online communities allow collectors to share discoveries and learn from one another. These connections help people recognize interesting coins that might otherwise go unnoticed. Stories occasionally appear about valuable coins discovered in ordinary pocket change. These discoveries remind collectors that hidden treasures may still exist in everyday currency. Because of this possibility, many collectors carefully examine the coins they receive in daily transactions. Even a simple quarter might reveal something unexpected. The Washington Quarter from 1982 with the D mint mark in black dirty circulated condition may appear humble at first glance, yet it represents decades of movement through American life. Collectors appreciate such coins not only for their potential value but also for the history they represent. Each coin acts as a small witness to the past. Occasionally, certain examples of these quarters attract extraordinary attention from collectors due to unique characteristics or unusual preservation. When these rare situations occur, the value of a coin can rise far beyond its original 25-cent denomination. And in one remarkable instance, a Washington quarter dollar from 1982 with a D mint mark in black dirty circulated condition reached an astonishing collector value of $45,000.